Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play, and we ride on them things like every day. Big beats, hit streets, see gangsters roaming, and Usman and Buckley won't fight till 1 in the morning. I'm Jeff McCrum. I watch MMA sometimes. UFC Fight Night, Usman versus Buckley going down at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. Peach State is getting a fight night card that doesn't blow your socks off amazing, but by the standards of what we've been getting lately, it's pretty good. There are a lot of fighters you've heard of or care somewhat about, and some prospects worth paying attention to. The bar's an absolute hell, but this card clears it. Headliner features former welterweight champ and one of the all-time greats in the division, Kamaru Usman, taking on surging contender and KO artist Joaquin Buckley. Usman's on a three-fight losing streak. While that obviously isn't ideal, it requires some context. He lost the title in brutal, highlight reel fashion in the fifth round of a fight he was clearly winning against Leon Edwards. The rematch was razor close, but Edwards barely took it. Then Usman took a middleweight fight on just 9 days' notice against the undefeated powerhouse Khamzat Chimaev and gave him one of his toughest fights in the octagon. Many people actually thought Usman won. That being said, Joaquin Buckley is on an absolute tear right now when he's not cutting promos straight out of the WCW Nitro video game from PlayStation 1. Now look, I get it. A lot of the people Buckley has been beating are towards the end of their careers. Colby Covington, Wonderboy Thompson, and Vicente Luque have been around for a while, but Buckley is simply dispatching fighters ranked ahead of him. It isn't his fault they're still occupying such high spots in the welterweight rankings. I think Usman still has some gas in the tank. Hopefully, having nearly 2 years off gave him the opportunity to rest his body and get himself in the best physical form he can possibly be in. He's 38 years old. Father Time is undefeated, and Joaquin Buckley may be the hardest hitter at 170. But I think Usman takes this one with his world-class wrestling skills and takes Buckley into deep water. Give me Usman by unanimous decision. In the co-main event, Thug Rose Namajunas takes on Miranda Maverick in a women's flyweight contest. Now, Rose is now 2-2 at women's flyweight following her loss to Erin Blanchfield. And it's obvious she hasn't been the same fighter since that staring contest where she lost the strawweight title against Carla Esparza. Thug Rose used to strike fear into the hearts of all of her opponents with her striking ability. Now, not so much. Meanwhile, Miranda Maverick is on a 4-fight winning streak and on the cusp of title contention. While a victory over Rose would be a huge feather in her cap, I just can't see it happening. Even this diminished version of Rose Namajunas should have the takedown defense and technical striking ability to dispatch Miranda Maverick by decision. At middleweight, we have Edmen Shahbazyan versus Andre Petroski. This fight is middleweight as all hail. Like, you look up middleweight fight in the dictionary, this is what you get. Edmund's a glass cannon. He's either going to finish you in the first round or get finished at some point during the fight. Meanwhile, Petroski's kind of a decision machine unless he's getting knocked out quickly. My gut tells me Edmund finds Petroski's chin and gets him out of there in the first. At bantamweight, the former champion Cody No Love Garbrandt taking on the Peyton Talbot hype train derailer himself, Howney Barcelos. I kind of love this fight. Cody obviously isn't the same guy who beat Dominic Cruz for the bantamweight title or went life and death with TJ Dillashaw twice, but he's still got the power to take anybody out if he's given the opportunity. Meanwhile, Barcelos is kind of an unsung veteran of the division who has quite the resume. He was an RFA champion before they merged with Legacy to become LFA. He very quietly started his UFC career 5-0, but just kept getting matched up with tough dudes with no name value or ranking next to their names. And he was kind of on a lose two, win one, lose two track until he started his current streak of defeating Christian Quinones and the aforementioned extremely hyped Peyton Talbot. I actually like Barcelos here. If he's able to implement his ground game successfully, I see it being a long night for Cody. Give me Howney Barcelos by decision. At middleweight, Mansoor Abdul Malik versus Cody Brundage. No. No. Why is this on the main card? No. Mansoor Abdul Malik wins. He's an okay prospect. Next. And kicking off the main card, we have light heavyweights Alonzo Menifield and Omar Sy. If fights were determined strictly by looks, Alonzo Menifield would be champion of the world. Dude is built like a freaking superhero. That being said, he struggled lately. He's 1-2 in his last three, and while he won his last fight over Julius Walker, it was a split decision over a fighter he was a heavy favorite against. Omar Sy is an undefeated prospect facing his biggest test to date. I think it's a test he'll pass. I think he has the athleticism and striking ability to give Menifield a hard time. Give me Omar Sy by unanimous decision. Now's the part of the video where I ask you to like, rate, review, subscribe. But don't do it for me. Do it for Beans. Tell him, Beans. You're doing a terrible job. I'm very disappointed in you. This is not what we talked about. And now a quick run through of the prelims. Paul Craig versus Adolfo Bellato at light heavyweight. Yeah, Craig's 1-5 in his last six, and Bellato hits hard. So this looks bad for the Bear Jew. But Bellato's made mistakes on the ground that Craig could take advantage of. I'll take Bellato, but I'm not insanely confident. Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee at welterweight. A guy who won tough in 2012 as a lightweight versus a guy who won tough in 2010 as a middleweight. Two old vets battling over who's more grizzled. Give me Chiesa by submission. McGee shouldn't be in the UFC much longer. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Chris Moutinho. Wait, what? They brought back Chris Moutinho? A guy who got rinsed by a 42-year-old Guido Canetti? Yeah, he's tougher than a Waffle House steak, but this dude ain't UFC quality. Wellmaker gets a highlight reel win in his home state of Georgia. Cody Durden versus Jose Ochoa at flyweight. Cody Durden's lost to some good fighters, but I think his grinding style gets him a hometown win by decision. Ricky Simone versus Cameron Smotherman. I think Simone's too big of a step up for Smotherman right now. Give me Simone. Phil Rowe versus Anja Lusa. Two guys who at moments show real physical and athletic potential, but have been pretty disappointing lately. This one's a coin flip for me, and for the odds makers. Give me Phil Rowe. Hopefully he makes weight this time. And jerking the curtain at women's flyweight, Jamie Lynn Horth versus Vanessa Demopoulos. Demopoulos is a large underdog, likely due to the size discrepancy with Horth. She wasn't very big at women's strawweight, much less at women's flyweight. Give me Horth by decision. There's a quote by a great poet named Christopher Bridges. Caught him with a right hook, caught him with a jab, caught him with an uppercut, kicked him in his ass. I think we're going to see a lot of that at UFC Atlanta this coming Saturday. Hope you enjoyed as much as I do. I'm Jeff McCrum. I watch MMA sometimes. See you later.